Hello, everyone. Today is Tuesday, the 16th of February, 2021, and this is the weekly meeting of K8s SIG Docs. I'm Tim Bannister. I'm going to run this meeting. I'm a tech lead. If anyone's new here, now's a great time to introduce yourself. I'm going to put a link to the agenda in the chat, and everyone should be able to see that. But if you've not spoken before, and I don't recognize everyone here, please pipe up and feel free to say hi. Okay. No introductions, but hey Taylor. Carmarville? I'm not hearing you. Carmarville, if you can hear me, feel free to put something in the chat. We're not hearing you, I don't think.
Go ping them.
Thank you, Ray. I'm going to move on to updates and reminders. This week's PR Wrangler is Jim Angel, who is in Texas with no electricity, but will be wrangling at appropriate junctures. And next week's is Kellen Barnard. And if you're a approver, you have to know your PR Wrangler shifts. That is a good idea. Let's move on to Hello Celeste. Let's move on to the release docs update, please.
All right. So last week was a big day. We had an enhancements freeze, so I have a lot to go over. I'm currently saying that the status is yellow because we have many enhancements that have not indicated if they do need docs yet. The docs team will not start to communicate until March 10 with enhancements owners. We talked about this with the enhancements team, and so they will communicate with the enhancements owners until code freeze, which is March 9. They will include a question if the enhancements needs docs for 1.21, and they will include the docs placeholder PR deadline also with the instructions as well. So I am stating that the status is yellow. This is this is common for a release cycle, that we go into a cycle of yellow, maybe red when it's closer to the placeholder PR deadline. So this is kind of normal. So continuing with the status, last week's Dev 121 branch sync was merged. I placed a link in the agenda. The integration branch is healthy. For 1.21, we are tracking 67 enhancements total, which is quite a lot. That does include 3 exceptions. Out of those 67, we're only tracking 17 for docs currently, but this is the very beginning of our, of our work. So this will be increasing until we get closer to docs placeholder PR deadline. Out of those 17 tracked docs, 3 have merged, 1 is in draft, 2 require no docs, and 11 enhancements need docs, but there's no PR yet. So, and 50 are unknown. So we'll continue with this, and numbers will be changing every week. There will be an email to KDev, and I have requested in that email to have a little section on if your enhancement for 1.21 needs docs to please place a placeholder PR. And that's it from me.
I want to say that those people who've got their PRs merged now, like congratulations to those contributors and the teams that have done that. Good job.
I was surprised.
Ray, you said it's yellow, so I'm going to ask a sort of a question explicitly. Do you need any help from SIG Docs at the moment, from other people?
Not right now. And I do want to make a statement that this cycle is we are changing how we communicate with the enhancements owners this cycle and next cycle also. So there's going to be, so we won't go through like the standard, we're going to ping enhancements owners every week. So just want to make a note of that. No help needed right now, probably closer to March 15th. Definitely will ping some people.
Okay, and Divya is not on the call, but has put in some notes into the chat. Anyone want to talk about either Ray's update or Divya's update? Okay, thanks very much, Ray. Moving on to the blog, does anyone on the call wish to speak about the blog subproject? I think I'm going to take that as a no. I know there's some blogs in progress. Moving on to issues and pull requests. This one's from me. Just one, I think, at the moment. The updated API reference generator. I want to highlight this because I'll come back to that. I want to highlight this because I want to discuss this in the quarterly review, which is later in this week. That's on, I don't know when that is. Does someone who knows the time wish to comment? Okay, so it's at 1 UTC on Friday, or for people sort of west of Greenwich, it'll be on Thursday in the afternoon sometime, probably, possibly in the morning. Okay, yeah, so I want to get the API reference generator on the agenda, and I want to see, are people happy to not discuss this now and park that?
Sorry. I would love if you could give a summary of why this is on the agenda and why you want to bring this up at quarterly review, because my impression is that we've already integrated the work into the website.
Okay, yeah. So I had a task on me to talk to SIG Architecture about the switchover,
Yep.
and they've the new API reference generator is live. So thanks, Ray. The new API reference generator is live. If you go and have a look at that issue, you will see links to it. And there is an old API reference generator. Currently, the old API reference and its generator are canonical. We want to move at some point so that it's a two-phase transition, as I see it. First of all, the new API reference becomes canonical. The old one is there, but deprecated. And then later, the old API reference goes because it does have shortcomings. It's not very accessible. It's a single page. It's hard to hyperlink to. But before that, I think there are some snags. And you're probably, if you're looking at that issue, seeing them. But if not, I'm going to set up screen sharing, which I have not prepared for, but I should have done because I knew I was chairing this meeting. 1 second, folks. Okay, close that, drop that VPN connection. I don't want to talk while I just do a bit of jiggery pokery.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as you said that it was not canonical, I understood the problem, like on a very fundamental level. To which, yeah, I think you're right. We absolutely need to address it, or else all of Philippe's hard work has gone to waste, and I would not want for that.
Still getting set up to screen share, but I can't be long now, right? Can't be long.
Do have a question. So at the end of towards the end of the release, we do some task with API generation, I believe. So we might have to circle back with you, Tim, and Jim towards the end of the release on if there's any changes to those steps.
Yeah, so let me zoom in a bit on this. Yeah, one of the migration steps is about that switchover. So absolutely, we need to, we've done generation once, but I don't think we've really got the process of generating the new API reference nailed down. There's a related task, probably later than that, around the incoming links. We might need some short codes. There's the actual switchover. But yeah, I think this point about updating the reference documentation and making sure that the release handbook for documentation is really clear. And I'm going to scroll down a bit to some more discussion. This comment here from Neolit123, quoting, I think, Liggett. the draft that we have now, the new API reference generator, it looks great, but the mappings between what you have in the Kubernetes API when you use it, when you talk HTTP to Kubernetes, and then the URLs in the documentation, these aren't obvious, the connections. So yeah. So if we look at the URL here is like ends in authentication-resources, and here it ends in services-resources, and here it ends in common definitions, here cluster resources. These make sense to people, but it's not easy. In fact, I would say it's really hard. If you are automating API generation and you want to say, okay, you can go here for more information, and I have programmatically generated a hyperlink to the documentation. That's currently possible, but the new generator and the new things it generates doesn't let that happen. So that's an issue.
So the issue is basically that the resource URIs for the API do not match the documentation's kind of slug, so to speak.
Yep. There's a bunch of things. So
Okay.
yeah, I think this is a big enough task to put on. What I propose to do is I'm going to suggest that later in the week when we have the quarterly meeting, my proposal, and I don't intend to discuss like what the answer is there, but my proposal is going to be that we put a lot of effort behind that. So I wanted to both call this out and also get people to see if people are happy to have that moved forward.
I mean, yeah. But thank you for explaining.
Any questions? Because if people want to read up on this and are going to come to the quarterly review, like now is a good time to ask questions, I think, about, I want to read up on this. I'm intending to clarify my thinking around this, but I have questions. Does anyone have that kind of question in mind? Okay. And if anyone's watching this, like there is a SIG Docs channel on the Kubernetes Slack. People can come and ask questions there as well if you're watching this asynchronously. Okay. And the next item on the agenda is indeed that we are having a quarterly review. And essentially this is review of Q4 of 2020 and a half, I don't know what you call a halfly planning meeting. It's 2 quarterly planning meetings back to back for the start of 2021. And that's on, Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific, Friday, 1 a.m. UTC. Those are the same time in different time zones. Details are in the agenda. Any questions on that? So if anyone would like to propose an agenda item, you can do that in the Google Doc. You can use suggestion mode if you've got access. You can put comments. If you're having trouble accessing that, then you can use the Kubernetes Slack, and you can get an invite from, I'll put it in the chat, slack.k8s.io. Yeah. Any more things that people want to discuss during today's meeting? Okay. Thanks, everyone. That's a SIG meeting.